Yo, what's good everyone? Coach D here with the Shift Method. Got another training YouTube video for you. Today, I'm focusing on some horseshoe action, talking about the triceps, baby. So I'm gonna give you my top 3 exercises that I like to do to really build those triceps. Let's jump right into it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So again, today we're talking about the triceps. That's that big 3-headed muscle that you have on the back of your arm here. And so we're gonna start with a little bit of anatomy to kind of show what the triceps is and then exactly how do we work it. So I'm gonna have my nice little graphic up here so y'all can see the back of the arm. And just like the name says, the triceps has 3 major parts of it. It has the long head, which is the most medial side, or the one that's closest to the middle of your body. You have the medial head, which is kind of the intermediate one that's deep. And then you have the lateral head, which is the one that's most to the outside of the shoulder. Now, the triceps really has 3 major functions. The first one is its primary movement, which is elbow extension. That is the ability for you to straighten your arm. Think about like a traditional tricep pushdown, right? Where your elbows are in a flex position, where they're bent here, and the ability to extend and straighten those arms. The second one, which is primarily the long head of the tricep, the one that actually crosses over the shoulder joint, because the tricep pretty much goes from the top of your shoulder all the way down to your elbow, is going to be shoulder extension. It's the ability to come from a flex position where your arms are forward to extend them backwards. Think about like a straight arm pull down, or even in a lot of lat-based exercises like a lat pull down, you're gonna use a little bit of your triceps in this situation. And last but not least, again, it kind of works the lats a lot to do a little bit of arm adduction, adduction, right? So my ability to bring my arms together or bring them down. Again, a lot of lat pull downs where you're bringing your arms down together, or a straight arm pull down where I'm pulling my arms down and together. That long head of the triceps helps with that as well. But again, main function is going to be extension of the arm and extension of the elbow. All right, now that we got the actions down, enough talking, let's go ahead and get into some exercises that's really gonna build up your triceps. All right, so sometimes the most simple exercise is gonna be the best one. Probably my favorite, just like go-to tricep exercise, because it is so easy to set up, and you can get a really good pump from it, is the cable tricep pushdown or tricep extension. You can use a different type, or various different types of grips for this. You can use a rope, you can use a V attachment. For my anatomy personally, I find that the straight bar works best for me, but again, you can use an attachment that works best for you. Now, the main things you want to focus on when you are setting up this movement is the big thing with tricep work is I want to make sure I have a relatively close grip, meaning my elbows are relatively pinned to my side and my arms are relatively close together. If I'm too wide and too far out, that shit's awkward as hell, right? I want to make sure that I am glued to my side, hands are relatively close together, so that way I can fully extend my elbows and get straight arms at the bottom of the movement. So to set this up here, I got my cable stacked to the highest setting. Again, for my short kings and queens out there, if you can't reach, you can always put a little bit lower, that's okay. I got my weight stack set up to where I want it, so you can adjust to whatever weight makes sense for you. And then from here, I'm gonna start by getting my elbows in a flex position with my elbows glued to my side. So I'm gonna be here, elbows are pinned in, and notice how high up my hands are. They're basically below my chin. If I am too low here to start, yeah, I'm working my triceps here when I extend, but I'm not getting the most out of the eccentric part of the movement. I wanna come all the way up, right? We talk about getting a big stretch in that eccentric part of the movement while still keeping my elbows glued to my side, and then I'm gonna fully extend. Now, a big thing to note too is when it comes to form on this, just like a bicep curl, you want the movement to come entirely from your elbows and you want it to be controlled. Humble yourself a little bit, right? If you're doing your reps and you can't fully extend your arms and the weight's coming up like 100 miles per hour and you can't keep your elbows glued and you're looking like this guy at the gym, lower the weight, man. Just keep the elbows pinned nice and tight. Fully extend. Your arm should be straight at the bottom, right? There should be no bend in the elbows. And you should be able to control it while keeping your elbows glued until your hands are all the way up, almost to where basically my palms are facing away from me. So if you can't do that, try lowering the weight, and I guarantee you it'll feel a lot better and you'll get the most out of the exercise. All right, next one, we're on the cable still again. We're gonna do an overhead cable tricep extension. Now, the reason why this one is a little bit different than the push down we just did is because now my arms, specifically my shoulder joint, is in a position of flexion. Y'all have heard me say this 1,000 times. With hypertrophy training, you want to put the muscle at a very lengthened position. So we talked about how that long head of the tricep, right, the one that crosses over the shoulder joint, is responsible for shoulder extension. So since it's shortened in an extended position, I want to have it flex to keep it lengthened and then perform elbow extension from there. I've done a lot of posts about this exercise before, but we're going to break it down even more. So I'm going to get into a flex position with my elbows pointing forward and then perform the movement. So just like I did with the previous exercise, I got my straight bar. Again, you can use a bent bar, you can use a V, whatever you prefer. I like the straight bar. I'm gonna set my weight stack to where I want. I'm gonna have my butt facing the bar, and then I'm gonna go perform the exercise. Also something to note here too, I see a lot of times people, and I used to do this too, they'll do a staggered stance. They might even kind of pin their foot up against the cable stack and be here and try and perform the exercise. That's fine, but what I found is a lot easier to do, especially as the weight gets really heavy and that position gets awkward to hold, is I just put my ass on the freaking pole, man. I know, I'm not getting paid for this, it's okay. So, but I will say it does perform a lot better leverage here, where I can just push my tailbone basically on the cable system here and almost like hinge forward like a deadlift. So I'm here, elbows are close like I'm pinning them to my ears, fully extend my arms, nice and control on the way back. And again, I'm not letting it pull my shoulders back. I'm keeping everything tight, pinned right here, and then it's all from the elbows. Last but not least, we have easy bar skull crushers. Again, if you're not really too familiar with exercise names, I know that can sound scary. Skull crusher is gonna freaking destroy my head. Basically, it's just another form of an overhead tricep extension, but instead of using a cable, I'm gonna be using an easy bar for this one. Now again, you can use a straight bar. You can even use dumbbells for this one, but I find grip-wise and really getting a good feel for my wrist and my elbows, an easy bar is the most comfortable for me, so that is the kind of implement that I'm gonna use for this exercise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my bar here, I'm gonna have it resting on my chest. I got my hands in the grooves right here, and I'm just gonna lay back, nice and easy. Big thing here is I want my elbows pointing forward, my thumbs are on top, and again, I'm just gonna break straight from my elbows going to where the bar is basically at my forehead, but I'm not gonna let it crush me, right? I'm just gonna be nice and controlled. Nice and slow on the way down, right to the forehead, and fully extend at the top. And you'll see sometimes too, a lot of people will go even further back to get a stretch. Sometimes people do anecdotally say they feel this a lot more. Personally, I like to just go straight from the elbows and extend here. And that's it, y'all. Again, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Again, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the daily socials for content that we got going on, as well as the long form content on YouTube and Spotify. And hey, I know holiday time is coming up, so if you want to get someone something special or a little treat for yourself, make sure you check out some of my coaching options. I got programs, I got in-person and virtual training, along with some of the merch on the store. So be sure to head to theshiftmethod.org, check out any of those items, and I would really, really appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.